This is Good Enough for God, a podcast about God and how he partners with imperfect people. I am Dayna. I'm glad you're here. And I'm also very pleased to say that I have a guest in my basement today. Welcome, Ann Thompson.
Thanks, Dayna. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and you're down here with my dogs.
Yes.
And Fern's chewing a bone behind you.
Yes.
Hopefully it's not going to annoy you and we're not going to pick that up.
It's all good.
Okay.
Hopefully it's good.
Okay. And then my other dog, Colby, is right at your feet with a cone of shame on his head. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for being a dog lover like that. So Ann, you are the author of a new book entitled Faith at Work. It's a practical guide to aligning your career with who God created you to be. Okay. So we're going to talk about your book today.
Awesome.
And also get to know you better.
Cool.
Okay. So we'll just see where the Holy Spirit leads us.
Yes, that works perfectly for me.
Okay. So I feel like it would be good to start off by breaking the ice a little bit.
Yeah.
This will help everyone listening, including myself, get a little glimpse behind the scenes of the life of Ann Thompson.
That sounds so epic.
Yeah,
I don't think my life is anywhere near that epic, Dayna, but we'll see.
Okay, so two questions. First one, do you have any pet peeves?
Pet peeves.
Something that just rubs you wrong?
Yeah, I don't like when people make noises when they're chewing.
Oh, okay, that's so good.
Like I'll try to make the noises.
Okay.
I don't even know if I can make them because, I think sometimes when you're making noises with your mouth, you don't realize you're making noises. But can you hear that?
No. I can't hear it. I don't know if it's going to pick up on the mic. But you can almost hear somebody chewing even with their mouth closed.
Or if someone chews with their mouth open.
Oh, gosh.
All of my elementary school etiquette alarm bells go off. And it really irritates me.
Okay.
It's a pet peeve.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'm sure you worked on that a lot with your kids when they were little.
Yes.
I did too.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's not a bad one. We need to have good manners.
Yes. Good manners are important.
Do you want me to share one of my pet peeves?
Yes.
Well, I feel like a lot of places where I go, there'll be a sign up that says, be kind.
Yeah.
And I don't like those signs.
Why?
They irritate me. I'm kind of like, well, don't tell me what to do.
I thought you were going to say, if you need a reminder to be kind,
well,
what's the problem?
That's true. I'm like, I just am. I just want to be. You don't need to tell me that.
Right.
I don't know. That just really bothers me. I just want to rip those signs down, to be honest, and be like, I'm kind, all right?
I'm already kind. Don't tell me.
Yeah, so that's one. Okay, so another question for you.
Okay.
What is the last thing you remember that made you laugh really hard?
Oh, wow. I feel like I laughed really hard just the other day. I don't think we laugh as much as we used to these days.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. I know that I've laughed out loud really hard lately, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
That's fine. Well, do you want me to share one that I have?
Maybe while you're sharing, I'll think of one.
Okay. So just the other day, we had a high wind warning here in Cincinnati, and then it extended northward in Ohio.
Yeah.
My sister and I drove up to Springfield,
Okay.
just way north of Cincinnati, north of Dayton, to visit our Aunt Judy. And we got out of the car, went into this building, and we could barely walk because the wind was so strong, and our hair, it was blowing so hard. So we were laughing about that. So we go to get back in the car. My sister could not open her car door. I had already gotten in. She couldn't open her car door because the wind was blowing so hard against it.
Wow.
And the wind was blowing her hair straight up. Straight. Like her hair is like mine. It's straight and it's longer than mine, but it was straight. I'm going to show you a picture.
Okay.
But she let me take a picture of her, which I found hilarious that she would let me do it. And I've never laughed. I've never laughed that hard in my life. I'm going to post it on my social media. She looks like a combination of Elvis and the Heat Miser.
Yes. She looks like a cartoon character. That's hilarious. That's amazing.
And I laughed about that all day. And if I even open up my phone and look at the picture, it's the hardest I've ever laughed, I think.
Wow.
Maybe in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Did that trigger anything?
It did. I don't have such a really, truly hilarious story. It's more of a those listeners who are in Cincinnati will be able to relate to this.
Okay.
The weather in Cincinnati this time of year makes no sense. And this year I feel like it's more
Madness.
exaggerated than normal.
March Madness
Yeah,
weather. Yep.
total madness. And so we were 70 degrees Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
And then yesterday, a crew came to kind of clean up our yard a little bit.
Oh gosh, it was cold.
Well, they were doing fine. They were blowing all the leaves and that type of thing because we had, long story, but had left the leaves in the backyard the
Mhm.
season before. So there were a lot of leaves in the backyard. There were a lot of twigs from the wind that you mentioned.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, I look outside. There's 8 guys out there working in our yard, and it is snowing. I mean,
Yeah.
to the point where, like, it just was such a very odd sight to see them. They were laying mulch at that point.
And it was
They're
snowing.
laying mulch, and it's snowing.
That's funny.
And I laughed about, I choose to live here.
Yeah, why? I
I choose to
know.
live. I mean, I choose to live here for all kinds of reasons, but this season always hits me the hardest of like, oh, come on, spring.
It's torture because you get a nice day and then you get snow the next day. It was actually snowing and sunny at the same time yesterday at times.
Yeah.
I was looking for a snow rainbow. Yeah.
Very weird day. But yeah, the landscaping guys were covered in snow. I mean, that's total oxymoron. This does not happen.
I think that's funny. Okay, so we broken the ice.
Yes.
You mustered out a funny
I
story.
did.
That was good. And before we get totally into your book, can you share just a little bit about your background, like your personal life or what led you to write the book?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
talk a little bit about kind of my career background.
Yes.
I started my career in retail. So first of all, I went to Ohio State University, the Ohio State University. I
Right.
think your daughter does that,
Yes.
right?
My daughter's Scout is a sophomore. Yep.
I majored in journalism while I was there.
Hmm.
And towards the end of my time at Ohio State, I started to realize I was really actually interested in why do people do what they do?
Like sounds like sociology.
Yeah, a little bit. But I thought, well, I can use a journalism degree to get people's stories and to understand why they do what they do.
Hmm.
I happened to have a job at the time at Macy's, which wasn't called Macy's back then, but I won't date myself.
Oh, what was it called? Was it Shillitoes?
It was Lazarus. I was
Oh,
the Lazarus
Lazarus.
era.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And they offered me a job in their sales manager training program.
Okay.
And I made the connection because I'm good at making little connections like this,
Yeah.
that I could take a job as a sales manager and understand why people buy what they buy on my sales floor.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this will be a great role for me. So I started my role there, spent about 2 years there,
Mhm.
and had a very interesting experience when I tried to be very entrepreneurial and got my hand slapped for it.
At
But
Macy's? Or I mean, wait,
it,
Lazarus.
at Lazarus, whatever it was
Rikes.
called. Yes, exactly. Now we're really dating ourselves.
Yeah, I was little. I was a kid then. Yeah.
And all of the names of that store.
Hmm.
But anyway, I managed the lingerie department at the Kenwood Town Center store.
Okay. Yeah.
And Victoria's Secret had just opened,
Ooh,
down the mall,
competition. Hmm.
right? And they had all these beautiful colored pieces, and all I had were what I called back then the old lady stuff.
Sure.
So I wanted to compete. I wanted to win. I wanted to have better sales. So I did a big analysis of all the items on my selling floor and called the buyer and said, hey, I want more of this, less of that.
Yeah.
I need these colors. I need these styles, that type of thing. And I thought that was a very smart move.
Yeah.
23-year-old
Yeah.
sales
Right.
manager
Yeah.
at the time. Unfortunately, though, my store manager did not agree. She felt
Oh.
like I had overstepped my bounds and done something that wasn't my job. It wasn't my job to call the buyer. The
Oh.
buyer was pretty excited, but my store manager was not. And I realized at that time that this probably wasn't the right role for me. Later, that's part of the book. Actually, that story.
Yes, because you're an entrepreneur.
I am, but I did not even know that word, Dana,
Yeah.
in my 20s. I
Okay.
did not know that word. I did not grow up in a family of entrepreneurs. I did not
Hmm.
grow up in an environment like that.
Okay.
But I went from Macy's, and back then, if you knew someone who knew someone, you could get yourself an interview at Procter Gamble.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Well,
That's the big cheese
that's
here
the
in
big cheese
Cincinnati.
here in
Yes.
Cincinnati. And so I landed a job at P&G in market research, which was much closer to why do people do what they do?
Okay. Yeah.
How do we get the story of what they do? And
Mm.
then what might we do with that from a business decision standpoint? So
Okay.
I landed the job at P&G, spent 13 years there. Now, while I was there, this is really an interesting part of my
Yeah.
journey
Hmm.
that we'll get around to the book. I was invited to a women's Bible study.
Okay.
I knew Jesus. I
Mhm.
grew up Catholic,
Okay.
and I knew Jesus, but I thought I wasn't supposed to talk directly to him.
Yeah.
I remember as a little girl sitting in my closet talking to Jesus because I felt like I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, so you did anyway.
I did it
See?
anyway.
It's like if they tell you to be kind, you're like, "No."
Yes. It's a good connection.
Okay.
It's also probably an interesting connection to that entrepreneurial, slightly rebellious
Sure.
spirit
Right.
sometimes. Anyway, I got invited into this women's Bible study, and it was the first time that I started to understand and recognize that God really cared about my work.
Mm.
That he had a plan for me, he had a plan for my work, he had a plan for my skills and my gifts and my talents. Anyway, it was the first time I really started to understand that, and it completely changed the trajectory of my work and my understanding of work.
Okay.
And did it mean that I went around the halls of Procter Gamble telling everybody about Jesus all the time? No, but it changed dramatically the way that I led, the
Yeah.
way that I thought about my career and the different moves that I would make while I was there.
Mhm.
And ultimately would become a foundation for me that became just absolutely imperative to everything else that I would do later on. So I was at Procter for 13 years,
Yeah.
climbed up the ladder, honestly loved it.
Yeah.
I thought I'd stay at Procter forever. I thought I
A
would
lot of people do.
yeah, I thought I would retire
Mhm.
from there. But then probably about 10 years into my 13 years there, I really felt like I started to hear the Lord say that he was gonna woo me to go someplace else.
Okay.
And sure enough, 13 years in, I had this well, there was a lot of other pieces of the story, but I had a dream.
Mhm.
In the dream
Oh, I read about this in your book. Okay,
yeah,
yes.
in the dream, I'm standing on kind of a hill, in the desert. And if you ever seen a picture of the desert with, like, the toned sand,
Yes.
pretty,
Mhm.
and there's a hill over to my right and a hill over to my left, and I'm a sheep in the dream, and there's a shepherd there. It's not a far stretch to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
I'm the sheep and Jesus is the
Well, heck
shepherd.
yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, I was considering leaving Procter to go someplace else.
Okay.
That was a massive pay cut, but I really felt like the Lord was wooing me to go to this other place. And in the dream, the little sheep looks over to the right, and over to the right, I see this beautiful, bountiful display of fruits and vegetables and
Mm.
flowers and all really good things,
Okay.
and all of my favorites. Bright colors, just a bounty of beauty.
Okay.
And the sheep looks up at the shepherd and says, "Well, we should go over there."
Yeah.
And the shepherd kinda nudges the sheep and says, "We're going over the other way," and points to the left. Well, to the left, all I could see was the crest of a hill.
Wow.
And he said, "You can't see over the hill, but I can, it's better." And
Mhm.
I knew when I woke up that morning that that bounty was all the amazing things that Procter had to offer me.
Sure.
Procter's an amazing company.
Right.
It really is an amazing company. And they clearly wanted me to stay. There were lots of great opportunities there, but I knew the Lord was leading me to take a very different type of adventure that I couldn't see the other side of.
Yeah, you're really making me think of when Moses helped lead the Israelites out of Egypt in the desert, and a lot of them are like, "Hey, I wanna go back where all that food is, like, I know I'm gonna have stuff there," and no, no, like
This way.
yes,
The promised
exactly.
land is over here. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so shortly after that, I resigned from P&G, went to a little company for a couple of years. That was Seek. It's
Seek.
called Seek.
Okay.
And loved my time at Seek, but I was a big fish in a small pond, and
Mm.
I had the ego to go with it.
So
I really
okay.
did. I mean,
Yeah.
I had been a client of that company for a while when I was at Procter. They were a market research and innovation company. And I frankly kind of went in there thinking I was the big fish in the little pond and I was going to save everyone and make this place amazing. And I did make a lot of great contributions.
Yeah.
But after 4 years, they fired me.
Oh, that's a dose of humility,
It was
huh?
a dose of humility, and I was shocked at the time,
Oh,
but on hindsight, I recognize it was a really smart decision on their part,
why? Like
because when you have someone who's part of a small company who has a big ego,
yeah.
it can cause a lot of problems. It can cause a lot of disenchantment with leadership. It could cause a lot of discord and almost division. I was creating division. I wasn't
Oh,
purposely trying to create
sure.
division, but in hindsight, I can see that I was doing that.
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so they fired me, another key point in my career.
Yeah. There's something I wrote down about when you got fired.
Yeah. I call it the shove in the book, what happens when you get fired, but
Yeah, and you say that over time you began to see that it wasn't just a professional setback, it was a spiritual invitation.
yeah, it really was because at the time that I got fired, I was going through a divorce,
Oh.
very difficult personal time in my life.
Mhm.
But a business partner and I had been toying around with the business idea.
Okay.
And so I got fired. I'm living in this big house that my ex-husband and I had bought when I worked at Procter Gamble.
Oh, yeah.
And I faced this decision with the Lord of saying, okay, I can go get a real job or
Yeah.
I can start this company that I'm pretty sure you gave me the vision to start.
Mhm.
If I do that, I'm going to have to be pretty dramatic about what I do. I'm going to have to sell this house, which we were trying to sell anyway, because
Okay.
we were going through the divorce. And I'm going to have to completely start my life over in lots of
Gosh,
ways.
that's hard.
It was a little bit challenging for sure looking back.
Mhm.
But I would tell you, Dana, I had so much excitement about what the Lord had planted in me. And interestingly, when I look back on my career to that point, I had made other kind of risky leaps.
Mhm.
And I think because I had done that and seen him come through,
Yes.
teach me lots of things, I just had a trust in him.
The faith, you're making me think of Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the confidence in what we do not
We
see.
don't see. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, yes, that's the thing when you take a step like that, even though you can't really see what's ahead of you,
Yeah.
and then he shows you what he has, it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing," and then you just keep on going like that.
The next step becomes easier. The next time he asks you to take a step, it becomes easier.
Right.
Right. So at the time I had a little bit of stock still left at Procter. I went and cashed it out.
Mhm.
This was shortly after the market wasn't doing very well in housing in Cincinnati. So we took an offer for that house that was significantly less than what we owed on it.
Mhm.
I paid it off
Mhm.
and I went and rented a little 900 square foot bungalow for me and my kids
Aw.
and started the company. So
Wow.
that was the beginning of the garage group.
Okay.
So the next big season of my career was the 10 years at the Garage Group, which I co-led with my co-founder,
Mhm.
Jason, and we built that company. It was so much fun. We spent several years on the Inc. 500 fastest growing company list, and
Wow.
we just had a blast. It was really fun until it wasn't. Until
What was not fun?
I got burnout.
Oh, were you working too
I
much?
was working too much. I was taking on way too much responsibility.
Right.
I had gotten myself to a place where I was in a role that probably was not the right role for me.
Okay.
And so I stepped back from that role for a
Mhm.
little while. We brought in another CEO to run the company for a bit. And
Okay.
then eventually, after a year or so, we sold the company. And that was when I went on a sabbatical.
Okay.
Thought it would be 3 months, turned into 18 months.
Really?
Yeah. And during that season, the Lord really started to speak to me about how he had actually made me
Mm.
and what all of this 25 plus years of history of my career had actually taught me.
Okay. So even like being fired, even the bad things aren't really bad, big
Even
picture.
Yeah, because what I've learned is he uses every step of our
Yes.
careers,
Mhm.
whether our careers include staying home with our kids or working professionally or working in ministry, he uses every step
Mhm.
to shape us and form us into who he created us to be if we let him,
Right. That's the thing.
if we welcome him. And what was fascinating was in that season, in that sabbatical season, that rest season, he
Yeah.
reminded me of a couple things. One, when I was a child,
Mm.
I loved to write.
Aw.
I loved it.
Yeah.
In fact, someone asked me the other day, "What are your credentials to have written a book?" And I said, "Well, in third grade,
Wrote a really good book
I won a
report.
poetry contest."
Okay, yeah.
Right? And he reminded me that I loved to write.
Mhm.
He reminded me that when I was a child, I had a lot of joy because
Yeah.
I trusted
Aw.
that my parents would take good care of me.
Yeah.
And somehow along the way, I had lost that. I had decided I was responsible for everybody and everything,
That's a
right?
lot to take on.
It's
Yeah.
a lot to take on. And he reminded me that when I was a child,
Mhm.
also at about 7, I told my mother, I want to impact people for good
Oh, wow.
and I want to write a book.
Really?
Yeah.
At age 7?
Yeah.
What'd your mom say?
She was always very encouraging, but
Mhm.
not necessarily. I don't know that she knew whether that would
Sure.
ever come to fruition,
Sure. Yeah.
right? She had a very difficult life, and
Well, and
so
writing a book seems like monumental to
it
me.
does. It
Mhm.
feels really it feel like once you've done it, you're like, "Oh, okay, I did that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But through that sabbatical, really, the Lord just kind of wooed me to the place of saying, "You should start writing what you always talk to people about."
Oh my gosh. See, it just makes sense. It's like they're right in front of you, right?
The whole time,
Yeah.
and truly, I couldn't have written this book 25 years ago because I
Mhm.
didn't have the life experience, I didn't have the journey with the Lord that I've had,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't have written the same level of I didn't have the wisdom. Wisdom is something you earn.
Yeah, it takes some
It
time.
takes time, it takes
Sure.
mistakes, it
Yeah.
takes humility, it takes
Yeah.
all kinds of things, and getting to that point where I was able to recognize I have more than one book in me probably. This
Yeah.
is the first one. This is the
Okay.
one that's about somebody said to me at one point, "You should write about the things that you know the best,"
Okay. Yeah.
right? And people have been coming to me for years asking me the question, "How do I walk out my career in a way that aligns with God, honors God, is true to who he wants me to be,
Yeah, and who he made you to
who he
be.
made me to be?"
Yeah.
Right? And so it just very naturally turned into a book. And I was pleasantly, in some ways, almost surprised to look back on my own career and realize how many fascinating moves
Oh, yeah.
he led me through that at the time, I don't know that I recognized it. I was doing what I could to follow where he was leading,
Mhm.
but I had no idea the game of chutes and ladders that he was leading me on,
Right.
No
Yeah.
idea.
Well, I'm in the process of reading your book,
Yeah.
and what I like about it is that it's relatable even to someone like me who has never held the type of jobs or worked in the business career that you have.
Yeah.
And it ties everything in with God
Yeah.
and what he created you for, like we were talking about. And that's something that I talk about, or who, when I have guests on, we talk about that a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
Being in relationship with God, partnering with Him, what it looks like in our lives, and you take this into the workplace.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I have to say, this is kind of funny. Like when I first started reading your book, I was like, wow, Anne is such a professional. She's such a professional, and I am not. I am not. It's not that I'm unprofessional. I was talking to a friend about this. I go, am I unprofessional? She's like, no, you're
Oh.
not unprofessional. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I act professionally or I try to. But what I decided is that I'm an improfessional.
Oh, I like
It's a
that.
new word I've come up with.
I like that word, Dana.
Why do you like that?
Because there's an element in it that is just raw and real. I
Okay.
mean, I would tell you I'm an improfessional.
Well, you came dressed like an improfessional today because part of the definition is like I like to be able to wear jeans
Yeah,
when I go to work and you're wearing jeans.
I wear jeans almost all the time. Almost all the time.
I mean, you're not in a business suit
No.
because I just like, wow, some of those jobs, like you have to dress nice every day. I have a friend who works at P&G
Yeah.
and she has somebody who organizes her wardrobe, like shops for her, picks
Um,
out her clothes, she has a book she goes through, oh, this will go with this. And I'm like, what? That is so out of my league.
that's a lot of work.
I'm
I
like,
I didn't have anybody planning my wardrobe at P&G, but, when I first started at the company,
yeah,
you wore a suit every day.
yeah.
You wore a suit and you wore pantyhose and you
Oh
wore
my
heels,
gosh.
and, man, when I look at that now, I'm like, "Oh, I don't somewhere along the way, P&G changed to a little bit more business casual.
Okay, I can handle that.
At first, I liked it. I felt like I was
You
playing a
feel,
part. I
yes,
felt
it
like I was
does make you feel kind of professional or
professional.
good. Yeah,
Right, it made me
yeah.
feel mature and
Hmm.
professional and all of those things, and over the years, I've recognized that really the Lord wants me to be me.
Right.
He wants me to be
Yes.
because my role is different than the role of the CEO of Procter Gamble or any other company. Some of us are called to those high levels of
Hmm.
position and influence in that way, and others of us are called to different levels of position or influence, right?
Yeah.
Someone who stays home with their kid has tremendous influence
Oh,
over
yeah.
their children, over their children's friends,
And
over
that's
their
like the hardest
neighbors.
job out
It
there.
is. It is. And so I think whatever our assignment is or our job is in a particular season, whether it's a
Mhm.
quote unquote professional job or
Right.
an improfessional job,
Yeah.
he's using it. It's part of his plan and part of his story.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And improfessional kind of breaks down that word,
Yeah.
breaks down this kind of false distinction
Okay.
that some people are meant to have a professional career and they're somehow in some other class
Yeah.
than people who aren't called to maybe work in the marketplace or work outside the home. And
Right.
the reality is God has different jobs.
Yeah.
Some of them pay well and some of them don't pay financially as well,
Right.
right? But they all pay in the kingdom.
You talk about in your book about being, like, eternally minded
Yeah.
in your job. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I think something I think we often miss is that, especially when we're my experience when we're more younger in our careers, we're thinking about how do I make an impact on this business or on this team or on this project I'm working on.
Mhm.
But if we can zoom out and see the bigger picture, which is the eternal picture,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Scripture is very clear. We are to work as if we're working for God.
Yes. Whatever you do, do it as though you're doing it, like, for the Lord. I'm
Yes.
kinda paraphrasing, but yes, I love that scripture.
Yeah, and so if I keep that in my mind and I have this eternal perspective that ultimately I'm working for him,
Mm.
it doesn't mean I disregard my boss.
Right.
It doesn't mean I don't pay attention to the work I'm doing day to day. It means I do it with excellence as if I'm doing it for the Lord, but I also recognize that God is a lot higher than any other structure or any other power or any other authority
Mhm.
that I'm working for temporarily
Right.
here on earth.
Yeah.
And so that eternal perspective of recognizing that the ultimate kind of reward, if you will,
Mhm.
is is in heaven,
Yeah.
but we can actually bring a lot of the kingdom here to earth.
Yes, that's why we're here. That's,
Yeah.
like, what we're doing on earth as it is in heaven. I think people have said the Lord's Prayer a million times, but if you gotta really think about what you're
What you're
saying.
saying.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
we're called to be. We're kings and priests here on earth.
Right. And if I'm keeping my eyes focused on my boss or my project or my
Mm.
profits, it's not that we shouldn't pay attention to those things. Yes, we should pay attention to them.
Yeah.
We should consider them. We should take direction well. We should be obedient to an authority, right?
Mhm.
But ultimately, I want to have a higher perspective and a more eternal perspective.
Right.
And I want to be cognizant that even if this job I'm doing right now feels somewhat menial or less important than the job I might have or I might desire to have,
Mhm.
God's using it in my life and he's using it in other people's lives as well.
Yeah, you're learning from that.
Yeah.
So what exactly would you say is the core message of your book, or did you already say that?
I don't think I really said it yet. The
Okay.
core message of the book, Dana, is really that God has a specific plan for you,
Mhm.
a specific desire for you. Sometimes I think when we say plan, we can get a little concerned that we're
Ye
going to misstep or
That's
something.
true, yeah.
But he has a specific way he's designed you and created you,
Yeah.
and your work can help to illuminate what that is and to bring all of those skills that he's gifted you with, all the gifts, all the talents, and really importantly, the desires of your heart.
Yeah.
He can use your work to align you and shape you into the person that he's created you to be.
Yeah, that's good. And do you come across a lot of people who maybe are trying to be something that God didn't create them to be in the workplace?
I think a lot of people that I come across in the workplace are trying to prove themselves.
Okay.
They're trying to prove themselves within that system that they're working in.
Okay.
I'm a really good director. I'm a really good marketing person. I'm a really good scientist or architect or designer. They're trying to find an identity
Mhm.
from their work.
Oh, yeah.
Do they articulate it that way? Maybe not. But if you look at the way that they behave, the way that they talk,
Yeah.
if you meet somebody at a party and you said, "Hi, I'm Dana." "Well,
Mhm.
hi, I'm Ann." "Well, what do you do?"
Oh, yeah.
So many of us identify with our work. Now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but so many of us tie our identity to our work
Yes.
rather than our identity is a daughter of God, a son of God.
Yeah.
We are children of God who He's gifted
Yes.
in lots of different ways.
Mhm.
And this particular job is a stop along the way.
Mhm.
Some people will go to one job and stay in that company, stay in that job for a long time, and God will do things even within that.
Sure.
But we get too tied up in the job itself defining us versus asking God, What are you forming in me in this job?"
Right. And what happens if you when you lose that job? It's
Right.
like you've lost your identity.
Yes.
Uh,
Which a lot of people go through that.
sure.
I mean, a lot of people go through that, and when we were at the garage group, when I stepped back from the CEO role, I think a lot of people were a little bit like, "How can you do that?"
Mhm.
And the reality was, I could do it because I wasn't defined by it.
Right.
In some ways, I had always thought that would be the thing I wanted to get to. I really thought that that's what the Lord was calling me to. He was calling me to be a CEO.
Mhm.
And then when I got there, I realized, no, actually, he's not calling me to be a CEO. Like, that's a title of a job. He's
Right.
calling me to be me. This
Aw,
was an important stop on my journey. This was an important part that helped me to better understand how he's created me and how he's designed me.
yeah.
But the goal was not the title.
Yeah, so it's just reframing the way you think about it, your career, like, I don't know,
Yeah,
it's a different lens to look through.
it is.
I mean, I've even had to do that just with, like, sports. I've always been an athlete and
Yeah.
just competitive. The Lord has taken me down several notches in my level of competitiveness as far as, like, emotionally, how I handle it, like, I play pickleball, and I can see how my identity could even just be in pickleball
Yeah.
and how I play,
Right.
and no, and I struggled with that when I played tennis, and I was like, I just felt like the Lord was like, "Stop. No more tennis."
It's so interesting, Dana, because whatever it is for you
Mhm.
that you tie your identity to
Yeah. Mhm.
is such a small fraction of who he says you are,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just one piece.
Mhm.
And hopefully your work starts to help you understand some of those pieces.
Mhm.
Like, one of the activities I do with folks that I coach is we look at their career timeline and we'll say, okay, well, what did you learn about yourself? What skills did you develop? What talents did you learn that you have? What desires did you uncover
Mhm.
while you were in that role?
Yeah.
And if you start to do that across all of your roles, you actually start to get a picture
Right.
of just the multifaceted creation that you are.
And you can start marking off the things you didn't like. "Nope, I didn't like
Yes.
that part. I didn't like that."
Right. Exactly. What are the things that you love? What are the things that you're really good at and you love? What are the things that you just don't like to do and you're terrible at? Those are
Yeah.
probably clues that those aren't things that he made you to do.
Yeah.
Those aren't things that he created in you. Probably someone else is really good at those things and loves those things,
Sure. Yeah.
you know? So the more that we can start to really see our careers as a bit of a canvas for God to show us more
Mhm.
and more of who we are, it gives us a different appetite
Mhm.
for wanting to follow him into whatever the next thing is that he's leading us into,
Yeah.
rather than just following some, kind of predictable career path. My career path has been nothing at all predictable. I tell people
Mhm.
it truly was, it has been a game of shoots and ladders.
Yeah.
You look at my salary curve, if you look at,
Right. Yeah.
the titles, like it's because it's not meant to be an up and to the right journey for everybody. Some people, I do think that's what he has,
Right.
but not for everyone.
And when it's not for you, it's like, "Whoa, where am I going? What am I doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else about your book that you wanna share before we kinda wrap things up?
Well, I think that one thing I want to encourage folks about is we've talked a lot about different types of career transitions.
Mhm.
The book will help you to understand which is the career transition that God maybe has next for me.
Okay.
But then importantly, the second half of the book is where we get super practical.
Okay.
How do you understand how God has designed you and wired
Ooh,
you?
that's good.
How do you reflect back on what you've already learned? And then importantly, some of the really practical stuff, how do I actually talk to people about who I am
Oh.
and what I'm good at and what I can bring to an organization or to a role?
Mhm.
How do I network
Oh,
effectively
gosh,
without,
yeah.
networking has such a bad rap, I think, especially among Christians, like, somehow we think it's salesy or something. It's not. It's just building relationships.
Yeah, and I've had to do that with the
Yeah.
podcast. That's something totally new for me,
Yeah.
and I'm an introvert. So, you know, I mean, it just means, I need some time alone to recharge. I like being around people, but yeah, I'm like, "Whoa, okay, I gotta get out there and gotta talk to people."
The thing that I always come back to is, the Bible talks to us and tells us about the kingdom as a body,
Uh-huh.
the body of Christ as a physical body,
Yes.
and that each part of the body plays a different role.
Mhm.
But if your pinky wasn't attached to your brain, your pinky would never know what to do.
Right.
And my point is, when we network, we're
Mhm.
getting to know the other parts of the body.
Mm.
Well, if we know the other parts of the body, we're much more able to work together.
Exactly.
And we're much more able to help each other recognize the unique role that we play.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, the book isn't like, here's how you talk to people about Jesus when you're networking. It's just,
Yeah.
here's practically how do you
Right.
talk to people? How do you talk about yourself in a way that's not bragging?
No, and I think you just need to be yourself, be like Jesus. You don't even have to say the name Jesus. You just like be a reflection of him.
Yeah.
I think people are drawn to that.
People are always drawn to that.
Yeah.
Always drawn to that. So I really want to encourage folks to pick up the book, not because I'm trying to drive book sales, but because I
Yeah,
really feel like there's a message in it for everybody. To your
for
point,
sure.
even if you don't work
Mhm.
in the quote unquote professional world, you
Mhm.
don't have a white collar job or even a blue collar job, you might not think it's relevant, but it is. We all
Mhm.
have work to do in the
Yes,
kingdom.
right?
Beginning with Adam. Adam had work to do in the garden, very first thing, right? So
Yeah.
so it really is meant to inspire you, equip you, and help you to see some of the path that the Lord that He has you on.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
I have a little more reading to do, but I'm gonna finish it, but so far, so good.
Oh, I'm so glad that you read it. Thank you.
So where can, people find your book?
Yeah.
Where can they purchase it?
They can find the book on Amazon.
Okay.
I self-published, so it's on
Oh,
Amazon. Just
okay.
look under Faith at Work and Thompson, and it should
Okay.
come up. Or you can check out my website, AnnEileenThompson.com.
And yeah, and your book, you're Ann Eileen Thompson.
Yes. That's because if you have a name like Ann Thompson, it's not very unique.
Oh,
There's
really?
actually another Ann Thompson in Cincinnati.
Oh,
So I decided to use Ann Eileen Thompson because
well, why not? You got that middle name, use it.
and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful middle name that my mom very clearly specifically
Yeah.
chose for me. So I like it.
Okay. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dana.
That's all that I have for today. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the interview with Ann. I would definitely check out her website at AnnEileenThompson.com. She does more than, write books. She has some coaching that she does, some consulting, and she even has a podcast of her own. You can find Good Enough for God on Facebook and on Instagram. Just search Good Enough for God. Love to hear from you on there. And if you can follow me, that would be great. And share this with a friend. I'd appreciate it. New episodes release on Wednesdays. Until next time, remember that God is good and you are good enough for God.